Studio One, a place that I had been so many times in my life, had such amazing times, and I couldn't help but think to myself that if there was ever a reason why OUTshine Film Festival and festivals like ours are so critical, it is because this story would never be told anywhere, and you could never see it if it wasn't for a gay film festival. And I have to tell you that this is one of the best documentaries that I think I've ever seen.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, our stories, you know, a lot of people say, oh, the movies are the same. They're about AIDS or HIV, or they're about this, or they're about that. And yes, there are some common themes, but there are common themes in every kind of movie.
Yeah.
But again, this is our history. This is our lives. And so today, those of us that are a little bit older, all of us, we looked like those guys back then. and when you went in there, they were young and they were vibrant, and you know, and those guys too will look like us one day when they're older. And so that's the importance of seeing LGBTQ film and having our stories continue to be told for generations upon generations. I was marveled at this film because I had taken those magical stairs that were about 3 stories high. How many of you guys have been to Studio One? Right, about 3 stories high, and it was an incredible place. The background, I even think I saw Sally Struthers, and I couldn't help but think about it. So take us back there and give us your first emotion, the first emotion that comes to each of your mind about Studio One.
Well, for me, I had moved to Los Angeles from Illinois to finish my film degree at Loyola Marymount. So I was a good Catholic boy, former altar boy, and I had recently just come out, and I couldn't help but hear about this famous Studio One. So I would make the trek from Westchester over to Studio One, and it took me a few times before I actually had the nerve to walk in. But once I got in there, it was like a fantasy land. I mean, I was way too shy to rip my shirt off and join people, but I would just watch in amazement of the place. But like I said in the beginning, I had no idea that the history, and very few people really did. It was this kind of lost, untold history that I'm proud to have been able to excavate and give to the world, because it really is so incredibly important, and Michael is a huge part of that.
This is so much more than just a place now that used to go to hopefully find somebody to, it's so much more. You watch this, Michael, this was your life.
Yeah.
This was your life at Studio 54, and it changed everything about
Studio One. Studio One.
Studio One. I apologize. Studio One. It changed everything. And this, of course, you compare it to Studio 54. Studio 54, I don't think holds a candle to Studio One. Is L.A. gorgeous men, and oh my God, the clubs and the dance music.
But people didn't know that, and my personal opinion on that is that Studio 54 wasn't gay, and so it was okay to talk about that, but it wasn't okay to talk about that they had coined it after a gay club. I just wanted to say something. My view of this is, way back when, I worked there for 10 years. So I was there pretty much 6-7 nights a week for 10 years, and what was a fantasy land to some was a day in the life for me, right? And so when towards the end of the film, when we start getting into the HIV/AIDS, and at that time, if you recall, we had a president who wouldn't say the word, and we got no funding, and like what you talked about, the White Party and all of the early parties were the ways that we raised money, but it was grassroots effort, women, the community was very split. Women were over here, men were over here. The women came in and really collaborated and organized and helped the gay men who were the ones dying mostly. It went from being a really joyous place to being incredibly painful, and we didn't get into, at that part, it was hard to even go there. Right, because I didn't see anything but ghosts in a way, right? And so one of the challenging things for me, I'll share it this way. Tonight was the 18th time I've seen the film, and each time I see something a little differently. And tonight I was left with the marvel of how incredibly talented us as an LGBTQ plus community is, the tremendous impact we have on community at large, what was really taken away for a period of time, how excruciating that was for everybody. I mean, when we were doing the film, again, Mark would say it took him over 4 years because COVID hit. And history repeats itself, and so we had a president not that wasn't saying the word. He was suggesting we drink bleach as a cure, right? So I mean, there was something. It was really kind of a time where it was repeating again, and partly in my opinion was because we lost a generation of people and the story wasn't being told. The generational narrative, if you will, had been lost. And so bravo to our director, Marc Saltarelli, for putting this piece together.
The film obviously would not be the film without Michael.
Thank you, everybody.
Yeah,
Thank you.
and when we first started it, the fact that it took 4 years to make has really been a blessing, because even just a couple of years ago, the political climate was not what it is today. Things are going in reverse.
We live in Florida.
That's why I'm so especially proud to be here in your festival.
Yeah.
We have to stand up. We have to show ourselves. We have to, protect our history so that people can see it, and we have to fight again. Back in the '80s, as the movement, progressed, and then we got gay marriage. I thought, oh my God, gay marriage, we're fine. We're just like
Unimaginable, right?
Regular people. Yeah, we've got everything we ever wanted, and now we're back to square one, starting with the trans community. They're kind of in the same place we were back in the early days, but they're going to come after every part of us, and women, of course. Yeah. So that's why I'm happy that it took quite a while, because this is the absolute perfect moment for this film to be making its way. And we have a couple of offers now for distribution. It just happened recently, and I'm really thrilled about that. So, and amazingly, it's at first we weren't quite sure. Is this just an LA story? Are people going to really respond to it?
No,
Yeah,
it's not.
but it's not. And we were in London. We're going to be in India at Kashish Film Festival. And it's really a universal film, and even non-gay festivals have picked it up, and that's really thrilling to see, because of course it's our main core audience are gay people, and especially older gay people, but also we want to reach out to people who don't really know us, and I think this film helps people to understand us and what we've been through, and especially the younger generation. That's another audience that I really hope we can reach, and I see there are quite a few.
Well, that's why we have a film
And
festival.
not just what we've been through, but also what we contribute. That's really what I received from the film tonight, is just how much our creativity and our vibrancy and our community gives to other people, even when we were being slighted and not recognized, and those are gentle adjectives. So, keep doing it, keep stepping up, keep being proud, keep being who we really are, and tell our truth.
Michael, one of the lines in the movie it felt like a giant jacuzzi, and it made everybody feel like they belonged. And I love that. I love that. And probably no truer words were said to you, right?
Yeah.
Because your life, you were in the middle of the jacuzzi, right?
Yeah.
And those jets were on high
For a long time.
and it affected your life
It did.
in a lot of ways, because those same people in the jacuzzi are no longer in the jacuzzi.
Yeah.
For a metaphor.
I haven't shared this in the way that it would make the film, but a weekend for me would be to work Friday night, to go to 3 funerals on Saturday, work Saturday night, go to 3 or 4 more on Sunday, and then the next week would be who's going to die this week, and go, and keep in mind, at a time the 4th floor of LA County Hospital was considered the AIDS wing, but early on the staff wouldn't go there, so it had to be staffed with volunteers. So there were those of us in the daytime would go and change bedpans and hang out with the people, and you know, they were just packing everybody in. There were like 8 to 10 people in beds in a room. They would be bringing some of the people that were dying from prison, so they would be handcuffed to the floor. It was gruesome, right? And you know, I mean, we don't necessarily know this part of history, right? And you know, when we talk about our angels and the sacrifices that people made for, you know, now we've got a pill to take care of this, you won't get it, and you've got a pill to prevent this, you won't get it, and it's, you know, easy breezy, and we can keep a stepping with what we choose to do in our life currently. That came at a tremendously incredible expense. You know, and so yeah, I'm so happy that we get to continue to honor these angels along the way, because I can guarantee you from my chair, they guide our community.
I think the juxtaposition in this film couldn't be more evident in that it goes from the best of times, the greatest of nights, I mean the most energy you can have, dancing shirtless in a bar with hundreds or maybe 1,000 other beautiful guys left and right, to the crisis that prevailed.
Yeah.
And I have to believe that really affected you, and I know it affected all of us as well. We know it quite well.
Yeah.
Was that the reason it was so important for you to make this film, or one of the primary reasons?
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. And, you know, surprisingly, Joan Rivers was never honored by an AIDS organization in Los Angeles. New York had an organization that honored her while she was alive. And most people assumed that Elizabeth Taylor was everything, that she started, you know, celebrity endorsement or, you know, support. But Joan Rivers was first, and I feel like our film gives her the due, and so does Melissa. That's why she was so excited.
Yeah, for sure. Did you ever feel that you had Joan Rivers being front and center, yet there were so many celebrities when the party was going wild? They were there for us. They were there. They wanted to party and drink and be with the homos. But then when the outbreak happened, it wasn't quite the same. Did you guys ever feel any of that?
I did, for sure. I mean, it became taboo, and I know we have to wrap it up. But it was, you know, the fear became so incredibly profound that the community's really split. You know, it's just, I want you guys to know, and every crowd that sees the film, we're Hollywood stars, every last one of us, right? We came from that. That was very much our ground floor. It was the foundation of what our community is built off of, and I'm so happy that we get to reconnect with that part of who all of us really are, and we each get to be that.
Mark, go ahead, please.
And just one more thing, I'm also proud that Gina Rivera is in our film. When it comes out, that she was excited to be a part of it, to solidify her reputation as the person who made the Bamboula that special place. And it's the last film that she really was part of.
In a closing question, I'll ask, what do you hope this film accomplishes?
I just hope that it's enlightenment and just preserving and telling our stories is so important. And I hope that it reaches people who are just like, you know, looking for a movie in the evening, and it comes up and says, oh, this looks interesting, disco, I love disco, and they start watching it and they're caught up in the fun, and then they get hit with the reality of what really happened and what we're still living with. You know, we'll always live with it.
Can I ask a question?
Please go right ahead.
Did we touch your heart tonight?
And there we go. As Michael says, our angels. That's
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for giving out.
Thank you, everybody.
This film.
Appreciate it very
and
much.
Michael, and Mark will be out at the Step and Repeat, out in the lobby. We guys take pictures with everybody and ask your questions, tell them your stories about Studio 54. So the next stop, maybe we'll be in it. And we got
Studio 1.
What?
You got it.
Studio 1. Oh my God. I apologize. Studio 1. We've got films going the rest of the night tonight, all day Saturday and Sunday, and all the way through the following Sunday, where we move to Miami Beach. Thank you very much for being here, and thank you guys so much for everything. Oh, thank you. Thank you. Oh my God. You know, it's